channel. My channel. My content. My channel. My content. My channel. My content.
Happy Monday, everybody.
What's going on?
You doing? Like usual, we'll go into the chat and see what's going on. Number one, we've got John from BlackRock. What's going on? The Cancer Man 1. Good evening, everyone. That's the first time in the top 3. I don't remember seeing this hashtag, or not hashtag, this but welcome.
Probably an X-Files
reference.
Reference, yeah.
And then Mike Snyder Reptiles, what's going on? Top 3, and Mike, number 4. And then Mr. Caplock's number 5. Because number 5 is the new number 1, apparently. So tonight, like every other week, we try to have some guests on. And last week, Craig couldn't make it. So now basically we'll try to get some guests on every 2 weeks. And tonight we have Joe from Mercy Morphs and Jeff from Morpheus Morphs, where he'll be back on in a sec.
He just tapped out, yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, it's better. When you popped back in, for some reason I had no sound.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. So what's new, guys? What's new and exciting?
Not much. Just been busy working, getting ready for this year. Doing a podcast with Jeff once in a while. We just hop on and
when you say once in a while, is it a scheduled one, or is it like? Because I've seen them quite a bit. There's quite a few. So is it a schedule at a certain time and date, or are you just like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's do one.
Yeah, that's how it started. We were doing, once in a blue moon, once a month, every couple weeks. And now we kind of said, every 2 weeks, we're going to aim for the Sunday, maybe around 7 o'clock, go live for an hour and a half. And just whoever wants to hop on, hops on.
Cool.
Sometimes I'll have scheduled guests. Sometimes it's kind of like your show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Last time you had Balls of Fury, right?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mike, he was there, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he was there. We really want to sort of, I think there's not very many kind of pockets of things that are not done in ball python as far as lives and stuff like that goes. And we really want to concentrate on guys like us that have, a smaller collection of 100 or 150 animals with hatchlings and been doing it for roughly 5 years. So Mike kind of fit that. That a little bit. And we want more to be able to have people jump in. That's why we had that. Was that JC? Is that the kid that jumped in a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun. It was be able to stop in, and people want to ask questions or whatnot. So we know we're not going to be like super popular like Uncle Billy, but hey, we're having fun, and that's the real reason why we're doing it. We really don't.
Yeah, and that's the
we
thing.
Got 7 viewers.
When you start these things, right? Like, it's something where I won't connect to many people. Because, my collection compared to someone starting out is like, oh my God, like I've even had people come by, pick up animals, and they've seen me, and they come in and they're like, oh my God, this is like, they can't even fathom it. So, it's like night and day, like we're two ends of the spectrum. And a lot of those people will be afraid to ask me a question, because, when they come in person, I think even you, Craig, I've known you for a while, and you've come and you're like, this might be a stupid question, but I'll ask you anyways. But a lot of people don't want, it's so intimidating that they don't want to ask that question. Where when you guys come in, right, you're sort of in that same sort of quadrant, right? You're new, you're growing, you've made mistakes, you're doing things, you don't have a facility, and people feel more comfortable asking questions because they figure that you can relate. I can relate too, because I've been there. I know where I came from. I know exactly, where you are, because I was there. Many of us, that are big were there. starting out and making mistakes, buying the wrong animals. But it's great to have a show like that because many people can go on and ask those questions and not feel overwhelmed because I can't ask Billy, oh my God, I'm going to be, again, that's a stupid question. And we need that because we need people's questions answered and them not making mistakes. So it's perfect what you guys are doing.
Exactly.
Yep, it's great. I've been watching it, and you guys are doing good work. And so we thought, well, let's have them on tonight so more people hear about it.
We appreciate it.
Well, we definitely got to get Uncle Craig to give us some lessons in the videography and the audio end, because we don't want to just do it Mickey Mouse, even if we are only 20 or 30 people watching. We still want to be able to do things properly, and so when people do come on, we're not wasting their time. So far we haven't had any glitches of sound or cameras or stuff. So. And there's no dead space.
Don't jinx yourself because
I already had
so
it
far we
30
had
seconds. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then I'm going like this. I can't hear.
Yeah, it's always in the worst position too, right?
Yeah.
Your face is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like the stupidest look on your face is where it freezes every time. So. Anyone in the chat, if you have questions for any of us or any topics, please throw it in the chat. Going back to the chat, we have Sage Green Power LLC in the house, and they're from Florida. Say blessings to all. JGT Cold Bloods. I'm sitting there going, I got to do this slow because I'm going to fuck it up. Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. JGT Cold Bloods. What's going on? What's up with you?
Good to see
Shauna Kana's in the house. Massey Morphworks. Oh, Proxima's in the house. Colorado.
Awesome.
Jeff. Lowe's Exotics. Happy Monday. Robert, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Who else we got? Pure Python Passion. Sophia's in the house. Matt from Constricting. What's going on?
Snake in my hand.
Snake in my hand. Yeah, that's him. Fucking guy. Canadian homies. There you go.
And that's what made me think Joe was Canadian, because he said that, but it's
Canadian
still
homies.
two homies on.
Yeah. Oh, more Forge in the house. What's going on, guys?
What's up, John and family?
Fam's in the house. Art. Herb Dad. That's the artisanal herpetology. Hold on. I'm going to screw this up. Artisanal herpetoculture. Yeah, there we go. Got it right. Art Herp. Now, it's good that I left it at. I should have just left it at Art Herp instead of trying to pronounce the whole thing.
You did it, though.
Yeah. He was on, Ray was on last night on our Patreon Q&A. And finally got around to putting some animals up for the first time ever on Morph Market. So, yeah, which is awesome.
Nice.
Great.
It's one of those things where it's like, and that's the thing, like, we were just talking about. I've done that probably 10,000 times, and me now, it's just boom, boom, boom. And I'm getting faster at it now. And I found some things where you can sort of preset them so you don't have to go and click all the boxes, almost like a template. And I asked him, and he's like, it was pretty decent. Like, it was, little new, but, anything like that, when you're doing it for the first time, it's scary, right? Like, oh my God, I'm going to, what do I do? Am I doing it right? And it's good that there's a bunch of people out there sharing stuff for how to do it, or, hey, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Just go do this. And I think that's what's great with the community lately, when, especially when there's so many different, like, Discords and Patreons and groups. And, we have the Instagram group for the lower tier and the top tier. And when you have a question, like, hey, man, I don't know what I'm doing, or how did you get that to work? And everybody can just sort of, answer questions or do things differently. And like, how'd you do that? Just like in the chat here, many times we've had a question and people are like, oh, I do this, or we've done this. This also works. And a lot of times too, I've even go, oh shit, I've never even heard of that one. So, even people that have been doing this for many, many years can learn from someone that's just starting out because, most people, when you've got something that's worked and working well, you don't need to change it. So you're sort of stuck in your old kind of ways. But when things change and modify and something else new comes in, it's pretty damn cool where you're like, hey, I didn't even know. Let me try that out. So,
You
Was
know
that
what?
uploading? Sorry.
I was it just sort of occurred to me that we haven't had you guys introduce yourself, and some people might not know who you are. So let's.
did I
don't
not
know
Who we
introduce
are?
them?
Well, like where are you from? What's the company name? All that.
All right. I can start. I'm Joe from Toronto, originally from Detroit, as I was telling Craig earlier. Company
Half
is Mercy.
Canadian, homie.
Now I get it.
I'm the trader. So my company is Mercy Morphs. I'm a male nurse by trade, so it kind of went with male nurse Mercy. I used to have a DJ set back in the day, and that was my nickname, was DJ Mercy. So I just kind of went with it, Mercy Morphs. Been at it 5 years now. Met Billy, and yeah, just loved what he did. Met him at the show, talked to a lot, and just kind of mentored me. I jumped on his Patreon for a little while, and here I am trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah, still a hobbyist, but
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, Joe and I are trying to figure it out. It's kind of like that ice fishing where you throw the fish out on the ice and it's flopping around. Yeah, Joe and I are trying to figure it out, flopping around outside the water. Jeff Kruger, I met Billy around 5 years ago. Been doing ball pythons for just over 6. Started with my daughter. Now my daughter's sort of out of the picture, but still want to be doing this for her. I'm a real estate agent, but I work with Billy 4 days every 2 weeks. Cleaning. I got a lot of my collection there, working close with Billy. Really enjoyed doing that. So made all the mistakes I could make. Didn't listen to Bill. By the time I met Billy, honestly, it was too late. I had already had 30 animals. I was way too deep down the rabbit hole.
Do you want to tell them the very first time we met? You told me that you wanted to come by and you came by.
Sex my snake. That's all I asked. Can I bring a snake to sex to make sure it's a female? And I brought 5, but at Billy's place, I think you had only been in maybe. I didn't know at the time, but I think now that I look back, I think you'd only been in the place for maybe 6 months.
Yeah, it was new. It was
and I yank out this ivory that was like 3,000 grams, and it just lets loose. Peas everywhere. We were at the front counter and it was dripping all over his pants, and Billy's like, oh my God. And then he takes the next one out, and I had fed it the day before, and then transferred it to Billy, regurg, and he's like, "What the heck?"
In the
and
bag.
The next one pooed in the bag. Oh, it was.
I was just like, dude, yeah. But we got him
memorable.
Yeah, but we got him sexed, and everything else was done. And then I started giving you some advice, and like, don't do this and don't do that. And sure enough, you did it anyways. But then you're like, yeah, you turn that quick because you realize I was right. But it's great.
I think I was too far down the rabbit hole in reality to implement any of those, but definitely having that mindset early on definitely helped straighten out. And it took me a year and a half to straighten out, and I'm still like I'm just coming into where I should have been when I started. Joe, I think from our conversations had he started off with Austin and Billy from get-go, and his collection
pretty much
to mine is even though we've invested roughly the same amount. I think I invested 22, paid it back. Now I've invested another 11. So I don't know what you would call that. But we're roughly, our collections are closer now, but when he's, getting animals, he's getting way purer animals than I have been getting. This year it'll be a little bit different. So, yep.
For sure.
22 out plus 11 out. I call it broke.
Yeah, it was for me anyways. It wasn't necessarily money that I should have been spending. And I know a lot of people, they're very poo-poo on don't put money on credit. And I'm not a believer in that. A couple of months ago, hey, I'm real estate's not going great. Snakes aren't selling a ton. I wasn't producing a ton because of the situation I was in. And I got a snake off of Austin, and then I got an opportunity with JP Jordan, JP Reptiles in Canada for $2,200. And like, I put that money on my credit card, and I'm like, I said to my wife, like, I can flip those around and probably make $8,000 to $10,000 on those 2 snakes within a calendar year. So to me, that made sense. Even any interest on $2,500 is going to be $500 maybe over the year. To me, that just makes common sense. And I'm more mathematical in putting projects in their own little bucket. That little bucket's got to pay for itself. If that little bucket's not paying for itself, have to go.
So I know one thing with Jeff. I'm not sure about you, Joe, but I know you've vended expos with Austin.
Yep.
Have you done one by yourself yet?
No, I haven't. No, I've just kind of helped them out, learning the ropes and
which is good. I totally
way better way to do
that.
it.
And I know Jeff's actually sort of done that whole thing, listed stuff, bought and sold animals. He's done his expo. So, it's good to see that when you get into this, you try to do a bunch of things. Now you guys are doing live streams and because I think it's not just buy snakes, breed snakes, get it. You need to, vend, sell, make mistakes, learn from them, get yourself out there, make a name, do live streams, be a part of the whatever's going on in the community and network and stuff. And, it's good because there's some people out there that are terrified to do what do I do? What do I get? And you see it sometimes as like, what do you recommend for, displays? And, a lot of times too, when you ask the big guys, it's like, oh, use this. It's like, oh my God, I can't afford those. It's like, So, it's good to see what other options are out there until you get there. Cause most people, don't start off with ARS and Freedom Breeder racks. They start off with Malamine or PVC or something. And and then you keep upgrading. And it's the same thing with expos, and other stuff. So it's good that you guys are getting, sort of a little bit of everything around and then, getting that experience. And then from there, you get to figure out what I want to do next. And do I want to put more into this or more into that? Or, I don't even want to do shows,
So we've got 50 people in chat. Go thumbs up or thumbs down if you use debt to finance your.
Good question.
Any projects really.
What about you, Joe? What is your approach to debt in this?
I try to limit my debt. So I came from a situation where I went through a divorce, sale of a house. So I had some side money. I was able to use some of that money to buy into a project.
Okay, hold on a second. We should go back. This is a very amazing topic. You went through a divorce and you had side money. How did you come across that? That is the question. That is having a divorce and you've had some side money after the divorce. Let's get into that. I think that's important.
I got lucky. It was actually a very amicable divorce. So me and my ex we're still very close. We have 2 kids together, so we're in it for the kids. Like, we don't fight. We, whatever happens, and we're both happy in the end, right? Luckily we had equity in our house. It was just at the beginning of the boom.
Great.
So we bought low and sold, not high, but we sold on the upward. But so luckily had some money left over. Was able to invest over COVID while the stocks were kind of flying, made some money there. So then I was able to put a down deposit on this house that we're in now with me and my new wife. I didn't learn my lesson. I love her. Probably watching. I love her. But she, gave me the green light, as long as I enjoy it and there's something I'm not just throwing money out there. Even if I break even over 10 years, she's fine with that. She supports it, but it's just something that I deal with a lot of anxieties. So I find this really helps me. Like even just getting on the show, getting out of my shell. I was almost throwing up before the show, but I'm good now. But it's just doing little things that just helps every day, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are talking about spending money on ARS racks or Freedom Breeder or Melon Mine.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned is spend the money. This ARS rack behind me, it's probably worth $2,000. My Melon rack that I built for $1,000, or by the time you buy the tubs, it's worth nothing. This is still worth something. So spend the money. It's money now, but it's money later too. So even if you get out or you want to upgrade, whatever, it's still worth something.
Yeah.
So
You touched on something really important, Joe, on that topic. I think if your spouse is supporting and you have thought about it logically and you think, hey, buying those 2 animals that project with the male that I already own can yield some money and would maybe utilize what you invested into that male, that's probably good. But if your wife does not support you, the last thing you want to be doing is putting money on credit that they're kind of either goes in their name or you're fighting about it when the brakes need to be done on the car and stuff like that. And that's just that's super important. Spousal.
Yeah, and there's a difference between support and understanding.
Yeah.
So like
100%.
when I'm buying animals and animals die and I'm buying something to replace it, it's hard to explain that. But I'm still selling animals. I don't have hardly anything for sale. Like I'm not breeding for quantity. I breed for quality. So my overhead is lower. I only have I think 50 something animals behind me. So just trying to keep it small and boutique.
What's up, Fred? Look at this. Goff's in the house. What you doing, my man? Hope all is well. I still love his Casey's design. It's pretty damn awesome. Mr. There we go. Bear. Mr. Red Onion Reptiles. What's going on, sir?
What's
Nikki, irresistible in the house.
She's under the weather right now.
Everyone.
I'm getting better, but I still have from 2 weeks ago. I still have that little. I feel much better. It's just I have the scratchy throat, and then of course I got a headache today. But Billy with his M&M look. No, I just haven't. I mean, I just feel comfy, right? Like nice and warm, and when you're not feeling the greatest, I feel like being warm and comfortable sort of soothes you, right? So,
EAD.
What's
EAD,
this?
there he is.
What's this? Oh, Richie's recessive. You should call it guys like us.
We should call what guys like us?
Your podcast.
Our podcast.
You like the Jerk Show?
We were joking around, and we are both of our company names are Morpheus Morse and Mercy Morse and both of our initials are JK. So I'm goofing around. Saying, well, let's just call it the Jerk Show, JK. Until Mike dropped the bomb on us, and we're like, ooh, maybe we should change that.
Fairy tales in the house. Fish fam. Outdoors with Jay.
What's up, Jay?
Let's see. Oh, Brittany, Fire Baby.
Fire Baby's here.
Still in the hold on. She was in the hospital last night. Hi, everyone. One of the nice things about snakes is they're pretty forgiving when you're stuck in the hospital for days. What
happened?
Her diverticulitis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Too. It sucks. So
I've had that. Oof.
Yeah. So
now I have a semicolon.
One good thing. One good thing about I'm talking about doctors and stuff is my surgeon. I had a meeting on the 25th with the surgeon to talk about the procedure and when I'm going to book it. I actually got a call this morning, and there's a cancellation, so I'm actually going tomorrow at 11:45 is my appointment. So I get it's good because I don't know when I can book. So I guess if I can get that out of the way, it sort of gives me an idea of when I'm looking at, and it's one of those things where I'm glad it's out of the way, because like even months ago, it's like, oh, I got to go in March. I got to go in March, and I don't even know what's going on until March. Well, it's now March, and instead of going on the 25th, I go on the 3rd. So
That's good. Sooner
yeah,
the better.
yeah,
So
that's the way I
you're
look at
doing
it.
the operation tomorrow, or just a
No,
pre-op?
it's just basically they tell you, you know, what they're doing and how how the procedure goes, and the
Okay.
pros and the cons, and if I still want to go through with it, sign here and we'll book you. So I actually had the same sort of consultation back a few years ago when I first had it. And they're like, we should take it out, and I went, but the thing is, it was right before CRBE, and I had a trip planned, and I'm like, I can't fucking get it done right now. We'll do it, in the new year and stuff. And then it just never came to be, because when the new year came around, it was like, oh, got a new facility, have to move. I'm like, there's no way I can go down. So
That's
what
good
happened,
that you're
Jeff? Your
getting
light
it.
went out. But yeah, that's
I
my morning tomorrow. So Mike says, for some of us rookies, you can touch a bit on shipping from Morph Market. So I can't. Probably Jeff and Joe can't either, because we're in Canada. We can't utilize the shipping from Morph Market. Have
I
you
use
used it,
Red.
Greg?
No, I use Redline,
So yeah. So
but it's supposed to be fairly frictionless to use it in Morph Market.
yeah.
Craig, I was going to ask you, have you done any? Adam from Proper Royals does the. I think
Palm
one of
Street.
his sponsors, Palm Street. Have you done any of those?
Nope. I've been getting to know them as a company, and I know their president, and they've been sponsors of Epic, which
Yep.
is great. But I have not used it yet. But
Have
I
you
like it.
not? Have you not used it because you are producing animals that just don't go in that space, or you sell? Like I have one animal that I can sell right now because I'm selling fairly well. So
Everything I've needed to sell, I've been able to sell at shows or because
Yep.
someone knows me on Instagram.
yeah,
So I'm going to just be uploading my first 11 animals to Morph Market probably end of this week. So
Mm.
I've never even had to list anything on Morph Market. All my sales are because people know me on Instagram, or because
Cool.
they bought from me. I have probably 6 or 8 animals that would be perfect to sell on Palm Street, but I just don't have enough of them to make a show.
Mm.
Yeah.
To do one full live.
So when they do a live, then are you saying that you kind of need 20 animals or something? Like what's? I've never watched the lives because we're in Canada and there's no point in watching them and wanting to buy an animal. So
the guys that do it best, and the two I think of that do it the very best are dang, what am I I knew I'd forget it. Well, Pangea's one, and then I'll think of the other one. A great.
What do they sell?
Geckos. Altitude Exotics on geckos.
Okay.
Altitude is number 1 for me, and Pangea is number 2 in terms of how effective they are. And they go in with a plan, show, watch. They line up their product. They've got it all ready. Boom, 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 and it's just like you can see them just go through thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in one show.
wow,
Awesome.
And that's what I love to see. Who else? I know Billy Rice has done some.
is that with ball pythons or through his daughters? Because his daughter does
No, I think ball python.
geckos
pythons.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
did you? Okay.
Yeah. I flew.
So we got
Go ahead.
we got a question here from Fairy Tale Exotic.
What
What
follicle
follicle
size?
size?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, you
go ahead.
take it away.
What follicle size do you stop pairing your male to feel comfortable that she will go on to ovulate? That's a good one, Billy.
So I stop pairing my females when they reach over 30, 30 mil and up. So usually by that time I've got 3 locks in once every month because I started at 11. A month later, it's usually around 18, 19, 20. And then a month later, it's like 24 to 28, 29. And then after 30, I just stop feeding, stop pairing, and just leave them alone and, wait for them to ovulate. So the only time so follicles will grow no matter what. Okay. Once they go to like 40, they go and ovulate and go into ovulation, or they start reabsorbing. So follicles will build. Follicles will build even if you're not pairing animals. Okay. So I've had some animals where I haven't paired at all. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to pair this animal, but you know what? I'm going to sell it. Let me just ultrasound it anyways. It's like, holy shit, it's a 27 man. Like, I don't want to pair it, but it's already building. It went from, 0 or, 3 mil, whatever they always have, all the way up to 27 without being paired at all. So eventually that's going to keep getting to like 40, and then it'll reabsorb because there's nothing for it to, ovulate unless it had retained sperm. So what I do is the only time that after I stop pairing at 30 is they reabsorb and don't ovulate is a male that I've overworked, a very young male, right? So sometimes it'll be like, oh, damn, I really wanted this to go because it was from that one little young male. And it's just he didn't have enough sperm, or, there's a bunch of different things why females reabsorb. But, I find that some of the animals tend at the end of the year will slug out, or I got more slugs at the end of the year, or they reabsorb because it's like the 13th female for the one dude, so, I sort of expect it. It's not like it was my very first one. And I'm like, man, how come all my animals that I'm pairing are reabsorbing? So usually you get good 3 locks in, and you're good to go after 30 mil. Anybody else do anything differently? What about you, Craig?
I do that, but I can't help it. I always give them 1 extra lock.
I used to, yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
At some point, I won't do that anymore. But, I found something at 28 yesterday, and so I just put 1 in, even though.
Yeah. I'll still do 28, even like 30. Like if I ultrasound and it's 30 and it's like, you know what? I'll put, especially if the male's not like, overworked, or it's like, oh, he's only doing 2 females just in the last 3 months. Let me just throw him back in. It's not going to hurt. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
What about you, Joe or Jeff?
For me, I'm new into ultrasounding, so I would just once a month. Until she looked like she was swollen and getting ready to nest. So I didn't palpate or anything really.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jeff?
No, I was going to say that Billy already mentioned it with the, it depends on how many males how many females the male's going to. If he's at 10 females over the year, and what's coming up, you back off and you stop. But if he's only got 1 lock left and she's only at 10 millimeters, you throw him in again. Or because I have a bunch of pairings that's only 1 male to 2 females, so I'll throw them in at 30 up to 35, and then won't do it anymore after that. So
cool.
We got Denny in the house.
What's up, Denny?
We got Jeff. Oh, here we go.
Has Billy ever told you you're doing it wrong?
Oh, man.
Never.
Ah, here we go. What's going on, man? So
second clutch ever.
Look at that.
Nice.
That's great.
Awesome. I don't think I have ever had a disagreement with Billy, and that's one of the things that I found very likable about working with him is that when we have a disagreement, literally you can call each other a name, and 5 minutes later you're still working together, and it water off a duck's back. He doesn't take things and hold grudges and stuff like that. He's a good person to work with.
And another thing, I appreciate that. And another thing too is, I do something my way for me, and like I remember back at the old facility, especially when you were you were starting to invest in other animals. I'm like, why are you buying that one? Spend a little more and get that. Yeah, but I really want to make these. I'm like, yeah, but it's not taking you to another level. It's great for what you're doing, but you could also do this to take you to another level, and you're going to still make this shit. But that wasn't your goal, right? You didn't, know. So that's one thing that I realize, and talking to many people, especially through Patreon, where their collections are. You can't just give advice to hey, this is how you breed and this is how you do okay at ball pythons. Okay, well, some people don't have the time, some people don't have the money, some people don't have the space, some people don't have and some people don't have any of it, but they still want to do it. And everybody has different goals and different agendas, and and to speak to everybody individually. And like I said, for me, my brain is always next level. You got to do this and next level. And I know back in the day, it's like, Jeff, don't do that because, I'll be, that's the shittiest thing I'm making. I want to get rid of it. But that's what sells at expos. That's what sells at shows. And I know that because I'll bring a, Orange Dream quad het fucking female. Nobody's going to pay $15,000 or $2,000 for that animal, what it's worth on Morph Market, because it's a fucking single gene animal. They don't realize, people come to shows to buy pretty looking animals, stuff that goes wow visually, and you can't get a wow factor from a single gene or a normal quint. Here's a normal. Why is it $2,000? Because it's a quintet. What the fuck's a quintet? Nobody wants that at a show. Yep. So if you're going to go and vend and you want to turn stuff over quick, it's a different game plan. And I'm doing that now. I'm sort of backing off the next level stuff because I've got quite a few of it. I'm still going to do great in the triple and some of the quad stuff. But there's still so many amazing animals in double, triple, even single recessive animals that we haven't touched and, put together. And it's the pretty snakes sell, Yeah. Definitely. And most people that want the powerhouse stuff is making it themselves. You know what I mean?
Speaking of powerhouse, Jared has been killing it on his show.
Sure has.
You've been
what did
doing
he do? Neon the other night?
Did Neon. That was really cool. Stuff I had never seen before. It wasn't just Neon, it was some other genes that I'd never seen too. And so anyway, it's great job, Jared. You're winning. It's great.
You're winning. What's going on? Smiley Heart Exotics in the house, Mitzi. Who else we got kicking in here? Let's see. Oh, Eric, ERS in the house.
What's up, Eric?
Wise Guys, what's up? Phil, how you doing, my man?
Yeah.
Here we all the Canadians popping in. So, thumbs down.
To the question of debt.
Thumbs down.
That's
thumbs
no debt,
down.
right?
No debt.
Another thumbs down. So,
sorry, Jeff.
We'll revisit this. No, I would like to revisit this in the future, just on how that particular project that I invested in, because I do a lot of networking. I love people. I love networking. I may not remember your name, but I remember what projects you're in. And I've had a couple people reach out to me and say, "Hey, I know you're into this project. Have you made this?" No, but I've got this pairing, and I'm like, I think it's worth X number of dollars. And the guy's like, "No, it's worth more than that to me. Put my name on there. I'll pay you X dollars if you can hit this animal." And I had that again this week, and it was a sizable amount. And it's just like, you know what? It really depends on what male you have, because the male I got from Austin is like probably a $4,000 male. And if I put it to a couple, $2,200 worth of females, they were better than anything I had. And they'll just up my chances of being able to hit. I'm still a sucker for freeway and super asphalt, but it'll be all clown stuff with hurricane in there, and that's
Mhm.
you know
Cypress.
Yeah. And I'm sure the answer would have been different during the boom. People would have been like, yeah, this market's going crazy, buy it all. But now it's like fear
yeah.
and everyone's selling and
Yeah.
no
I
debt.
would not do it on, and like I certainly wouldn't go out and say, okay, well, I'm going to buy a male and 4 females and go from there, or invest in them and then grow them up. These are ready to breed animals. One was 2,800 grams, one was 1,700 grams, and well, I think Billy, we ultrasounded them. One was at 10, one was at 5, and the male's ready to go. So to me,
Yeah.
I'm only doing that because I can make, in some sense, instant snakes within
Instant.
12 months. If I don't have a very decent shot at doing it within 12 months, I'm not doing it. And I certainly wouldn't do that on baby snakes. It's
Mhm.
more of a, hey, I think I had 6 females for that male to go to over the year, and they're all at different follicle development. So I added those 2 more, kind of rounded out him plus his backup. To me, then that's okay. Well, now that makes a little bit more sense. Leveraging the 8 females against a male and a backup rather than just 6. So
I've said this before, but I think, well, let's say this. We all draw our lines where we're going to draw them when it comes to debt. We might
Mhm.
go, I'm not going to go into debt for ball pythons and then go in debt for something else instead. So that, and our account, that fits our accounting model because the money's going, the money that went to the ball pythons, but it's all the same, right? It's all our income. My middle ground has been, I'll go into debt for equipment, but not for animals. And that's different for different people.
Mhm.
I know lots of really great businessmen who have gone into ball pythons and went in with unsecured debt. And, it's certainly doable, but I think they would all say, don't invest debt or cash anything more than you can afford to lose.
Interesting.
And that's the way it is with any investment, right? With
Mhm.
any investment, don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and then you're fine either way.
I think for me too, the reason why I'm willing to go into debt on certain projects is because I kind of split everything up very cellularized, business wise. Like I'll have 6 or 8. That's a project. I when I invested 21. I worked my butt off till I paid my family back that 21. Now I've invested another 11. I'm not going to continue buying snakes and other stuff until I pay that other 11 back to my family. And meanwhile, I still have the collection that's in some sense free. I think if anybody tells people nowadays that you cannot make money at ball pythons, you're in a nut job. Go and invest $1 million in a restaurant. You are not looking at an ROI till year 5. Ball pythons, I returned the money from my investment 100% in less than 18 months, and I had money and I had and holdbacks. That's your return on your investment. So I mean that doesn't happen in ball pythons. I certainly don't think I'm Mr. Genius as far as business goes, but I mean I've got guys in my corner, Billy. I got Austin there. I got the knowledge, at least the background, to be able to pivot. And that's the big thing. I had to make a major pivot at at 18 months and almost reboot everything that I was doing. If you're not doing that, even right now, right today, if I had bought those 2 snakes off of JP for $2,200, if I had bought those when they were babies, I probably would have been $8,000 or $10,000. And it just being able to pivot, being able to have the mindset to constantly be thinking outside of the box. Billy, that's all we do at work. Hey, what of this? What about this? What about that? Hey, let's do this. If you're not willing to be doing that, you stuck in what you were doing 3 years ago, you are screwed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to make adjustments, So
Yep, for sure. And it's the inability to make adjustments that keep us kind of romancing the merchandise a little too much. I mean,
Yep.
we love them as animals. That's the problem. It's
Yep.
it's important that we love them as animals, but it's also got a double-edged sword in that we don't make the business decisions we should sometimes make.
Yep.
So I believe that they say when you go into business, your break-even point, I believe, is 7 years.
Depends, yeah, 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
Yep.
And I think when people invest money, they base the entire structure on the very first year they breed. Oh man, I lost money. I didn't get my money back. Well, if you buy the right animals and you have the right genetics and you invest wisely, you definitely do well. But if you look at your model and you continue to do it properly, year 3, year 4, year 5, you hold stuff back. So even if you buy babies and you raise them up for 3 years to breed, right? And you hold some stuff back, sell some stuff and reinvest into other stuff. Year 4, you breed the exact same animals, or maybe you got some other males. But then year 5, you have the original females plus the stuff you held back, which should be better. So you're continually having that momentum in your favor. But if you buy animals and you do things right and you get 3 breeding seasons out of them, so year 5, if you're not making a profit and recouped your money off those, then I don't know what the hell you're doing, you know? And then a lot of people sit there and go, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I had to buy racks. Well, that's investing in your, you know what I mean? But if I buy an animal for, say, $5,000, especially a male, I'm breeding him to 4 or 5 females the very first, the very next year that he can breed, or even if it's 2 years. I'm quadrupling my money off that one investment. That's just the one investment. Oh, but I bought racks and I bought this and I had to do this. That has nothing to do with that animal. That's different stuff. What do you call that? That's like what do you call it? Assets. Depreciating assets.
Yep.
Depreciating assets. That's right.
But people sit there and go, oh, I spent $20,000 on animals. I kept about 10,000 back. I sold 8,000, but I spent 12,000 on racks. I've lost money. How the fuck have you lost money? You know what I mean? Like they don't understand. Just because you don't have it in front of you doesn't mean, those animals are paid for. The racks were almost pretty much paid for. You got to look at the entire picture. But,
and that's something I wasn't doing at first. I was not calculating, because I'm a spreadsheet nerd. I was not building into my calculations what my holdbacks were worth. What would I have paid for that snake? And the holdback to me is
worth
an
more.
asphalt clown is worth more to me than it may be somebody else who's not in the freeway clown project. Like, don't tell me that animal's only worth $200, because if you got a female, I'll give you $1,000 for it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you look at that, and then the way I look at it is every female I hold back, I have a certain value. So say starting out, for every female in your rack that's going to breed, you should, I like to have mine higher because I have higher end males. And, but I like to average $5,000 a clutch with the animals that I have. So say you go down and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do 2,000 with the animals I have. I want to make $2,000 a clutch. So if you're holding back 10 animals, right? Technically, 10 females, technically in 2 years or so when they breed, they should bring in $20,000 depending on what you have. But if you increase the male, and you put better stuff in, those numbers keep going up. A few years ago, I was averaging over $10,000 a clutch. I had a few clutches that were over $50,000 for fucking 1 male to 1 female, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of babies and 9 eggs. Wow. Now, if I had 100 clutches of that, holy shit. But the only way to do that is have the money animals in your racks growing up. But that's, investment. So,
yeah. For sure.
Now I'm the way I'm doing things now is I want to average $5,000 a clutch, and if I get 6, basically 6 eggs, I've got to average $850, $900 an egg. So if I have some $2,000 ones, and then, you know, some $1,000 and some $400 or $500, as long as the clutch averages out to, you know, $5,000 a clutch, I'm happy, you know? So if you're starting out, say, hey, I want my clutches to be 1,000. I got 10 females. There's $10,000, you know, and if the only way to get those animals to get higher end is more power for male. And then eventually you don't want to keep getting power for males breeding to a low end animal. You need to make some holdbacks or bring in new stuff. And you just basically keep the ladder, keep going up and up and up. You know, the stuff in my holdback rack is better than what I have breeding. And the reason is because, you know, eventually I'm going to have them breeding. The stuff that's in my rack now is gone. And then the holdback stuff, that's going to even be better than what's in my holdback now that's breeding in a few years. Like you got to keep it moving.
I want to skip ahead and chat a little bit and show this because that is awesome. John says, we'll go into debt for the snake, for the sake of going into debt at this point. We treat death like taffy. How far can you stretch that shit?
I'm the same way, man. I mean, I'll do whatever I can, especially, you know, because I know the business. I know what I can make. I'm in full control of it.
Yeah.
You know,
because you have a cash flow basis that you can base it on and decide whether it's prudent or not. And then you can decide if you want to pay the cost of capital. He also says we expand and buy when we have the cash to do so. And we're currently making money on every animal sold. We have paid back the infrastructure. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you have that behind you, you know, like even Jeff, I've seen where, you know, back in the day when he first started, he had a limit. No, he was almost to that thing where I'd rather have more than I'd rather have quantity than quality. You know, not quality of animals. I'm talking quality of genetics and the dollar amount. Now it's like he's got less, but it's way better. And that's, you know, and
Billy would say buy $1,000 animal, and I'd say, well, I can't justify or afford that. But then I talked to Billy 6 months later, and I bought 4 at $350. Like, that didn't make sense. Right. And that math just don't math anymore.
Right. And that's the thing. You just got to get over that, right? You just got to understand that, hey, guess what? Not only, and people don't realize, I might go and buy a $350 animal and another one and another one and another one. I've seen way back in the day, most people's collection, they've invested 10 grand into fucking as many $100 snakes as they could get. You didn't invest 100 grand. In my opinion, you blew it. So, you know, and you got to restructure it, because if I had somebody from scratch and you wanted to spend 10 grand, I would set you up in 2 projects, you know, or maybe even one strong one. And that one strong one would be way better and less work. And you'd be so farther ahead year after year with having a group or 2 groups for 10 grand than a fucking whole shitload of animals at $100. Oh, I got 100 animals. They're $100 each. You won't even be able to pay for your food, your storage, your time. You're losing money, you know? And that's what that's when I started getting into that breeder 1, 2, 3, because I just saw so many people going, are people not listening to what I'm saying? Like, I think it was the perfect time, because when I came out with that video, it was almost like a year before the crash. And imagine people kept holding on to all those animals. Holy fuck, they you know, people are feeling a little bit now. You would have been feeling it a lot worse if you didn't move some of those animals. So
I think that's the biggest thing that I run into with other people that are, because of the real estate part. I have guys that come to me and say, hey, can you, business-wise, can you help me set up projects and stuff like that? And I think that's one of the biggest things, is understanding the cost of getting a female or a male to market. And I think if you're not looking at 3 years to get a female on eggs, you are not doing this right. Like you'd like to get it to 3 years. If it gets there quicker, you're going to average that, because you're going to get the odd ones 2.5 years, but you're going to get some of them over there 4 years. And that cost of the animal, if you bought a $50 animal, you're what, $200 minimum per year to raise that animal? you're
You're not
into
going to recoup your funds.
$650
No.
Yeah.
on an animal that's worth $50. All of her offspring are going to be worth $50 to $100, and you still got to breed them. And like you're lucky if you're breaking even on the food that
100%.
you put into the animals and the babies to raise. So if you change that mindset, well, okay, well, I bought a $2,000 animal and I paid $600 in food over 3 years, then you can justify that sort of cost to rate, whatever you call value to cost ratio, quite a bit easier.
What do you think of this question, Billy? I was watching Gem Exotics last night, and they mentioned lowering cooking temps to prevent certain issues such as head wobbles and super spot nose. What temp do you guys set your incubators to? And then Mike and Matt both said what I would say or what you would say, 90.5 or an 89.5.
Yeah, I'm 89.5. I've always been at 89.5, but I've got fluctuations in my incubator, which I'm trying to narrow down instead of having like a 2-3 degree, where my ones at the top always hatch like 5-6 days prior to the ones at the bottom. So I'm going to try to level it off, but if not, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. But there's some, I know back in the day, Caramel, Corey Woods would incubate those eggs, and I believe with like is it the gray matter or another
Urban Camo or something
urban
like
camo,
that?
yeah. If you incubate those at like 83, 84 for a longer period of time, I believe there was less issues in deformities and kinking and stuff like that. I never really fucked around with that. My caramels laid slugs every year. I got rid of them. Yeah, I just stick to 89.5. I may pop it up. People were saying to make it a little hotter. I don't know, but I've always done 89.5. I'm not opposed to changing it. But like, you know, my mentality is it really going to change anything that like, you know, I'm doing 100 plus clutches a year for 10 years. Never really had any issues. Do I really need to move it? So I might just go to 90, 90.5 and leave it there and see how it goes. Or, but I do think, like I know with lizards, their sex can be orientated by the degree of the incubation,
Right.
And something I just figured out too is with lychees, right? Leachianus geckos. If you breed the first month, because I think they're out 90 to 120 days incubation. So if you breed the first 30 days, I believe it's high. And then for the rest, you drop it like 5 degrees and you let them incubate for the rest. They're females. And if you have them low for the first 30 days and then incubate them higher, they're males. So different things like that. I'm like, holy shit. So I'm learning stuff with these things. And, you know, incubation at certain points can do things like ball pythons. Well, if everyone's 89.5, 90, 90.5, 88, who was the one that said, let me try it at 83 and see how it works? And it actually does. Like, it's amazing. So I think
add a week.
Yeah, or maybe 2. But if it's helping with the development, because the higher the temperature, the faster the development. So if you're slowing the development down for a longer period of time, maybe that's where some of these animals or genes need that slower time to form. Because if we put them in like everything else, I think there's a lot to learn with these animals, especially like incubation, the way we feed, and the way you know, it wouldn't surprise me. We're all fucking incubating them wrong. Just because we're getting stuff doesn't mean we're doing it right, you know? So, but
I've heard a couple guys say that if they incubate lower temperature and get up to like day 60, that the animals are bigger. Which, you know, that would depend if they have the data to back that up. So.
But they would have gotten bigger outside of the egg too. So it's sort of like, you know, it's more like if you gave them that extra week to get bigger, they would have gotten bigger outside the egg. And so it's sort of, I would get worried if I started seeing, you know, too many unfinished yolks or something like that, or I don't when with a spider, I don't know about to the degree that the wobble in super spot nose is similar to another spider. It's in the same complex as spider, but I don't know that I've ever heard anyone say that the wobble is better on a super spot nose because they gave it more time. I don't know.
Not sure. But I'm
Better
sure it
than
could be
what? You'd
related.
have to have like a lot of data. You'd have to have
You would have,
Yeah.
you'd have to know what it would be like without it, what happened at this temperature, what happened at this temperature, and you'd have to hit a lot of super spot noses over time to really know that, I think.
Yeah.
I incubate at 92, and I've had 200 animals, and I've never had any problems. I've never had anything go like completely haywire. But that's like it's not enough data. 200 animals.
Yeah.
It's not enough
Yeah.
data to say conclusively, hey, this is what it is. And I think too many people do that. They take their personal experience of 4 whole clutches and apply it to everything. Sorry,
Yeah,
you got
it's
nothing.
true.
Somebody like Billy can track that data if they have the amount of animals, but not necessarily the amount of time to track the stuff. That's the challenge.
Well, you handle all the holdbacks and the hatchlings. I have clutches where, and I'm not talking because I incubated at a certain time, they come out heavier. I've had babies come out at 30, 60, 70, 80, 90s average, and I've had some come out at 140 grams. Like, what the fuck? The eggs were like 160, 170 a piece. They're like torpedoes. And it's like, wow. So, I could say, I had a clutch. Yeah, the eggs were 170 grams. I incubated them at lower, and at 62, they came out bigger than all your people's, everything you do at 89, 90. They were 140 grams.
Yeah.
Well, they were 140 grams in the fucking egg, no matter how you incubated them.
It's subjective.
So,
it's all relative. You get even within, like, I think we've all seen like big, huge egg, medium egg, and then you get this pointy little thing. And it's like, okay, was that the one that was sitting in the arse? Like, I mean, those, even within its own clutch, you have to go well, this is the average weight, but like, I mean, I've had, I think, a 59 and 110 gram baby. And they all incubated. They were all in the same thing. And I'm super anal. I move my eggs up the incubator and rotate them every week. So those are getting like every every egg in that box is getting very even temperature.
Yeah, and it's even weird when I go through my hatchlings, I'll go through, and especially when I'm feeding, because my hatchling is I like the sort of look, what I'm feeding. All the rest, I just open and throw it in, open, throw it in. But I would open up and like, I'll do clutch like 78. And it's like, oh shit, they're small. And then 78 is a little bigger. And then 81, they're like twice the size. I'm like, fuck, you came out 3 weeks later. How the fuck are you 2 times the size of these guys? And it's the same thing. It's like, they're not all born at the same weight. They're I get a lot of 70 and 80 out of the egg. And then I get some in the mid hundreds. And it's more around the 80, 90 gram spot. But I get a lot of clutches that are 120 plus right out of the egg. So, who knows?
I wouldn't disprove it. Like every good research paper comes with a theory. So I think if someone wants to prove it, go for it and let us know the results. But mine isn't broken, so I'm going to keep it the way I'm doing it. But
but collect the data properly, like spreadsheets and stuff. Don't just say, "Oh, I've had it." Okay, well, show me the animals. Oh, it's they're in my head. Don't count on your memory. I know for Billy and I, we're always like, "Do you remember this?" I don't remember what we did 5 minutes ago. We're both the same age.
Did you ban a comment?
Yes.
Was it bad?
And the user, he's a douche nozzle.
Okay.
That's the word of the day, Craig. I love it.
A douche nozzle. Wow. Here we
You'll
go.
have to tell us offline what the comment was.
Who
was it aimed at, Craig?
So
I got rid of it so fast you wouldn't know.
Was it aimed at me?
No.
Oh, here we are.
What's
Happy
up?
Mofo Monday guy. What's up, Ken?
what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man? Let's see. Yeah, there you go. That's the plan. Better animals in the whole back rack. And the funny thing is, it's like, you know, people get so like, oh, look at Mutation Creation made. Look what Justin made. Look what Ozzy makes. Look what, you know, oh my God, like, oh, it's not fair. Well, it is fair. It's not like we just magically made it. We put the fucking ingredients or bought the ingredients or made the ingredients, put them in our rack, and like everybody else, put the time in to get them to size and then chase the odds. You know, I know every year is better for me. And if you look back, like, holy shit, look what Billy made. Look what Billy made. You can go back every year and pick a few animals in the last 15 years. Every year, pick 2 or 3 and go, holy fuck, look what Billy made. Look what Billy. There's always animals that I make that people are like, holy fuck. Like, you know, I've done a bunch of triple visuals. I did the special freeway monsoon, world first. It's not freak. It's like, oh, he's lucky. No, it's because I put the animals in. Like this year when I hit super asphalt monsoons and stuff like that, and a lot of other monsoon stuff, it's because I put it in the rack. I just, you know, your whole back rack is your future. So if you're putting better stuff in and investing in those animals, you're going to be producing stuff year after year after year, you know, and it goes to show where some of the old school breeders would never reinvest or buy. They just, no, I'm just going to keep making more of them because they always sell. Well, you sort of plateau, you know, and for me, and I know many people, I don't want to just sit there and make the same thing year after year after year after year and have it come down $100 or $200 every year, but they fly out faster. But where's my joy? My joy is to try to chase those G's, try to make those first, or try to make that project come, you know, visually that I spent time thinking of. Maybe we should do this. And Jeff says the same thing. What do you think this would do? What do you think that would do? Or how many times we all do this? Did you see what Buddy made? Yeah, what's in there? I don't know, but it's cypress. We need more cypress. Like it's, you know, it's not like, oh yeah, let's like, that's a nice animal. Let's just try to make 30 of them and we'll sell them every year, every single year from now on. That's not where I'm at. Like I always want to do that. And that's why I've got to put, you know, some animals in. And, you know how many like lightning pieds, dreamsicles, hypo clowns, hypopides that I've had? Instead of making more of them and putting more combos in, I put quads, combo quad. Like, you know, if I just wanted to make a bunch of stuff over and over and cash out, I would have done that every single year, but I wouldn't have what's growing up in my racks, which is going to put me as, you know, like, you know, oh, wow, Billy made an orange dream, yellow belly, Enchi hypopide. So did 500 other people. You know what I mean? And the price is down. So you really got to, you know, what's in your rack is what's most important. What you make, what you hold back, what you buy to help those projects keep moving ahead. That's where the power is. That's why Justin, you know, you don't see Justin coming out with, hey, I made another one of these. Here's another Pompeii, year 7. The Pompeii he's making now is triple het for something else and 4 other genes. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to get on that track unless you're just happy being content where you are, but don't cry when everyone else is moving ahead of you and you're stuck, you know, because you put yourself there. You know, the whole back rack is the most valuable thing in my collection.
That's right. Preparing
I
biz
think,
luck.
Yeah. I think it's okay to have your pet project, but that pet project's got to be a very low percentage of your snakes. Craig posted the other day. I think it was a lightning pied, and he was like, "I'm still doing it." He had a little smiley face. Was that you, Craig?
Yes.
Yeah. And like I'm still working. I'm still making trying to super orange dream, super asphalt, super Enchi, super banana. Like I'm still chip, but those are pet projects, man. But that's not the bulk of what I'm doing.
Yeah, but people don't understand, right? Oh, but there's no recessive in it. If you have a quad super that's fucking amazing, that puts out that's better than a fucking double, triple visual. You know? There's no guessing or missing the odds because you know you get one of everything. You're definitely getting a quad in everything, and depending what you put it to, you know. I look at like my freeway clown as a double recessive. That's the way I look at it.
100%.
You know, Randall's
Yeah,
in the
any
house.
any allelic combos, I think you got to look at.
Mm-hmm. Fucking bear. Yep. Yeah, because you know what the thing is, Bear? It's like, oh no, I'm done. Oh, look what I got in. Look what I got in. Like, oh, let's bring these in. But one thing is when Bear does it, he does it fucking right.
He does.
And there's
He
no
does, yeah.
way that that's one good thing. I remember the first time I ever spoke to him on Patreon. He's like, here's my list. I know where I fucked up. Here's where I fucked up, and I did this. But and ever since, he's never made that mistake again. And everything he does, everything he buys, he doesn't buy because it's cool. He doesn't buy because it's expensive. He doesn't buy because it's the new thing. He buys because it fucking does exactly what he wants and where he wants his collection and his projects to go. He doesn't just buy it to start something new. He buys it to complement and add. And one thing I know that he's been doing lately is if he opens a drawer and doesn't like the look, it doesn't make him happy, it's gone. Even if it's something that and it makes sense, and it's not easy to do that. I have probably 200 animals where I'm looking now and I'm like, why the fuck do I even have these things? Like, what was I thinking? So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing and changing. I'm changing the way I'm breeding this year. There's certain things that I want to do. And I'm not chasing any more quads or quints. I'm just going to do all the triples and doubles and just take them to, another level, and still work with my freeway clown, super asphalt clown. I got some, some cool projects on the go. And, we all change, but Bear's doing it right. And it's, there's no way. I mean, even you, Craig, you've changed sort of different things. And like, I think,
Oh yeah.
maybe a month or two ago, it's like, you know what? I think, I don't want as many species as I have. And you know what? No one told you. You just come to the realization where it's like, you know what? It's been good and it's been fun, but you know what? I really like doing this. These are okay, but it's just, I'd rather, and you will come to that decision on your own, and if you don't, that's cool too. But, you change, you modify, or you look at the big picture and see what you want to do and make those adjustments. And I think it's great. I think everybody should.
Always. Yeah.
Joe, where are you right now in your posture about either buying? Are you buying? Are you growing? Are you downsizing? Are you holding? What's your posture right now?
I think I'm doing all the above. I'm moving out some animals that, I don't have a vision for. I still have a few girls that I bought when I first wanted to breed and they've never gone for me. 5 years old, just keep reabsorbing every year. But those ones I'm hard pressed to get rid of. But yeah, I got my holdbacks, most of my stuff. I'm just constantly just trying to roll it over. Especially I'm so early on. I didn't really take the best advice going at the beginning. I do have a lot of single gene animals, like one het, one codom, whatever you guys want to call it. And that's one thing I keep preaching to some of my customers: like, buy multi-generation animals. If you're gonna breed, like a lot of them, they're pets, but they might want to breed. I'm like, don't breed pets. Just if you're gonna breed, buy something you're gonna use 3, 4, 5 years on the road. Otherwise, they'll be sitting in a rack, never giving you a clutch, and still losing money on it.
Jeremy's in
That's
the
good
house.
advice.
What's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, Jeremy. Hey, they've got a new podcast too. Him and Steve Smorfs and a bunch of guys.
Yeah, Steve's more. There's the four of them. It's Sunday night, I believe, right?
I think so. Jeremy,
believe
put
it's
it in
Sunday
chat.
night. Jeremy, when is it? I think it's Sunday nights. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but stacked panel, really great. Great show.
Tire God's in the house. Let's see. So here's this. So Jason says, does the ear formation and melanin deficiency ever happen in the incubator, or does it happen with the spinal column development before it leaves the mom? No idea.
No idea.
I mean,
I think we just found out about the ear thing like 18 months ago or so.
Yeah. It's a neurological issue. No, it's an ear, the ear
Skull formation. Yeah, inner ear.
But I mean,
the
that's a
thing.
good thing is, you know, we always say, oh, if something's fucked up. Oh, it's the incubator. Oh, it must have had a spike in the incubator. Oh, something. We stress out so much about, oh my God, it's 2 degrees hot. My incubator's fucked. Like, I just leave them. Like, I want to have swings. Like in the wild, do you think it's 89.5, 100% of the time through that fucking 60 days? No.
Yeah.
Night falls, this. I mean, it's constantly changing. You know, I do think that a lot of this stuff genetically, and it could actually be not in the incubator, like Jason says. Some of this, you know, some of the deformations or the problems or issues with some of these animals could be at the genetic issue or at the genetic level before, you know, it even develops into an egg. You know, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know.
why, like, I mean, I'm gonna, Jason. Hopefully, you're on. But Dr. Warren Booth, we're having on Patreon on Wednesday. You know, he might know more like this, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the person to ask. You know, I'm just sort of guessing, but you know, but it makes sense where so many people for years, I was one of them. Oh, it's an incubation issue, but everything else around it was perfect. Why did this one have fucked up? Everything was perfect, especially when I used to have like six clutches lay in the same day, 6 clutches hatch the same day. Why is one of those clutches fucked up? They were at the exact same level, exact space, exact heat, exact same time, everything. I think it's more than just incubator issues.
It sure is. And I, you know, we're dealing with live animals, right? We're dealing with factors beyond our comprehension and our control. We can control what we can control, but it's not like we're assured any outcomes.
Here's a good question. Ray says, what would you say your average sex ratio in hatchling is? Seems like ours is tilted heavy to the male side. I've had it both. I've had it like, depends on the clutch. I've had some where it's all females, all males. It's 50-50. You know, the clutches I really want, oh yeah, I want as many triple quad het female combos as I can. 7 males, 1 female. Like, fuck. So, you know, I'm not sure. I think it varies. I really don't think, you know, with ball pythons, the way you incubate, I don't think it has anything to do with the sex ratio. You know, you hear people saying, oh, I'm male heavy because I do this. You know what? I don't see it. Do that for 10 years with hundreds of clutches and let me know. You know?
Yeah. Last year seemed like the male heavy year. Everyone was saying males, 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 except for Miguel. He was doing all females, it seemed like. But even me, I was male heavy, very, very male heavy. I didn't change anything.
Males are great if they're not a bunch of hets.
Yeah.
You know?
You know
You
why
wanna make
Miguel got all
females?
bunch of
Wish for
females,
males.
right?
What?
Because they all want
'Cause
to
he
be
wanted males.
California girl.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that Billy, you didn't do that. I did. Yeah.
That joke.
Is that a dad joke? Yeah.
What's
That's
up,
a
Brian?
dad
You're
joke.
on second shift. Good to see you.
Here we go. George, Thornwild Royals. Craig, for you.
2 weeks ago, you mentioned putting on an AI workshop. Yep, I did. Did that already happen? If not, is it too late to get in? Send me a DM. Do you mean about to be on the panel? Send me a DM about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, if you're doing a workshop of how it works and how to do things and how to
Yes.
utilize it, I would love it too.
Yeah.
You know, because that's
Mhm.
one thing I haven't really screwed with. I mean, I've used Chat GTP a couple times to
Yeah.
ask questions, but then I'm just doing what I normally do. It's like, shit, I should have done this. It's all too late, you know. But
Yeah.
it'd be nice to see how we can incorporate AI into, you know, what we do, planning, maybe better husbandry or different temps or different ideas or logos or, you know, anything that we do.
Yep.
You know,
It's I've been using it a lot to help me process a lot of my videos. I haven't done any AI videos, but I use AI to upload and time the videos that I upload. And so be happy to share all that. So it hasn't happened yet. It will happen. I just need to find the right time and the right panel for it. And it's going to be part of the reptile workshop under that thing. So follow me on YouTube, BashCoder Reptiles, if you're not already. Tales from the Snake Room, which is also a reference to Lemony Snicket. What's that? Lemony Snicket is series of unfortunate events.
Lemony Snicket.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
But that's the name. Tales from the Snake Room is the name of their podcast.
Yep. I don't know what day it's on. I don't think they've said it yet, but
yep.
I've had many this last season go to 18 and back down to 0. So I've had a few like that. A few years ago, we were breeding the monsoon male to a bunch of my enhancer stuff and to make like combo double hets. And some of the ones they would go to like, oh, cool, 11 start pairing, 17, 18 pair, ultrasound, it's an 18 pair, ultrasound again, 18. Now it's 16, keep pairing. And it just, reabsorbed and it never kept going. Not sure why. I believe I asked Dr. Warren Booth or Professor Booth the last time, like a year and a half ago, we had him on, maybe 2 years. And that's still another thing, like they still don't understand why they reabsorb or why they don't build, and why sometimes I believe he was saying that the females will select the male that they want. So if you put a male in, she can retain the sperm, and then you breed another male and she doesn't want to use that sperm, so she'll use the retained sperm. It's like, what? Like they can do that? Like there's so much to understand with these animals. But I did ask him, it's like, is there anything we can do? Like give them more calcium for that month, or gut load the rats, or do something so that they keep going instead of just reabsorbing. And at that point, I believe he said, I should go back and watch. It's been a while. There's so much information that we always get from, his lives. But I believe he said, you know what? We still don't know. I mean, there's no real gauge of why it does and when it does. And some reabsorb early, some reabsorb later. Why? They don't know, and especially with us, there could be a lot of, natural changes in the wild that could stimulate it and make them reabsorb. But in captive breeding, we've got everything down to almost like control. So for animals, to breed and then, and give eggs, and the one in the middle decides to reabsorb and the one here and the one over there does, they're in the exact same environment with everything else going on. It's got to be something internal, stuff that we don't even fathom right now. So hopefully one day, in the future, you guys can just go, oh, to stop reabsorption, you need to do this for 6 months prior. And, oh, fucking cool. Like, because what we know now compared to 10 years ago, wow, I'm afraid to know what we can know in 10 years, with all the new science, development, tools, research, the sharing and the knowledge. So you never know.
You notice any changes in your female when they start reabsorbing? Like, do they go off food or push the male away, or?
For me, it's when they go back on food.
I don't really,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really pay that much attention, because once I put the black on, I just sort of leave them alone. They either give me eggs, or I'm like, you should have laid by now. Pick them up. Let me ultrasound. Nope, she reabsorbed. But that happens maybe 5% or less. So it's not like something, it's like, oh shit, I'm having a problem here. I got to figure this out.
Right.
So,
I had a female at 22 last month, and she's been slamming food. I checked her again yesterday. She's at 15. So I'm like locking, but.
Paul.
Paul Simon, the musician, thought too much a lot, so much that he wrote 2 songs called Think Too Hard. Think too much, I mean.
Think too much.
One song wasn't enough.
So what I do is I feed every other week. I feed a small meal. But what happens is when I put the yellow on my animals, and I do that when I ultrasound and they're over 11 mil. So once I do that, I start pairing once in a while, maybe once every 4 weeks or 6 weeks, I'll look around. I got some extra, or I'll order a little extra, and I'll extra feed those. So, they might go week on, week off, week on, week off, week feed again, week off. I'll throw some extras in to those animals that are actually building. So instead of getting like 2 meals, they might get, an extra third every like 4 or 5 weeks. So instead of getting like 2, they might get 3 in those 4 or 5 week periods. And I've been doing that for the last year or so. I don't really know, because I'm always getting like an average of 8 or 7. I think I did just over 7 last year per clutch. And then some I got like 10, 11, some I get like 4 and 5. So I'm not really sure. And for me at this stage, I just want to enjoy myself now and make cool shit. I don't want to sit there and have to start, okay, dog, I don't have to like a whole science project. It'd be really cool for some of, you younger people or newer people that want to start documenting this. And in 5 years, you could have some groundbreaking stuff that we could all benefit from. I just don't, especially now, I don't have the time to start going and start looking. And I've got too much shit on my plate right now that I would like to, but I just don't. Like, if I overfeed this, or I start doing this, and this rack was fed this many times, this one wasn't, what are the comparisons? Because I find that, I have animals that lay 10 eggs one year and lay 7 the next, and then 11, then 6. Like, what the fuck? I'm feeding them the same way. Is it the male? Is it the female? Like, who knows? So I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely, it's like Jeff said earlier, it's the data, Oh, I did it for 1 year with 200 animals. Dude, you need 10 years with thousands and thousands, and compare over that time and see, if anything was done differently. And, I just don't have that in me, but it'd be great for someone to do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time too, you do one thing one way and one thing another way. And like, oh my God, this was horrible. I got no breedings and this one did. Like, maybe I shouldn't have overfed them. God damn it. Like, that puts you back, because, one thing is, overfeeding animals gives you slugs just like underfeeding them. There's a healthy weight for these animals. You realize in the wild, they're lucky to get 12 meals a year, 10 to 12 meals a year, but we're trying to jam 52 meals in them. Their body, their digestive system isn't made for that. It's not a colubrid, it's a ball python. Their digestive system's 10 to 14 days. You might not see it, but there's a lot of fat deposits and fatty tissues and shit that's going on internally in these animals because we're overfeeding them.
Enlarged organs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And you may not know this, but as soon as they eat, their heart enlarges twice its size. Their plasma thickens, so it slows the bloodstream down, and their internal organs and their move around and shift for the processing of digestion. If you're constantly feeding it weekly forever, that heart never goes back to normal. It stays enlarged for its entire life. It's in hyper mode. It's a stressful, eating is stressful for these animals because their body changes. It's not good. And there's some of these big breeders that have been doing this for 40 fucking years that are legends. They feed 8 times a year. Here's my big female. Here's 1 medium or 1 large. I'll see you next month. And they do that for 7, 8 months, and then they breed. And guess what? They're probably getting better and bigger clutches than all of us, and have healthier animals. So, I've been saying this for years, 5, 6 years. I feed less, and
if you took a yearling and fed it eight times a year, or a hatchling and fed it 8 times a year, you'd have a real problem. But
correct. Yeah.
For a full-grown, healthy female,
yeah.
you know.
So you want to feed like every week, up to a couple 100 grams. And then I might even push that to 300 this year. You know, and then go on every other week. But you know, it depends. You know, this information will come out down the road. But you hear some of these people that have like degrees, and like Dr. Warren Booth or Professor Booth, he says the same thing. We're overfeeding these fucking animals, and it's not healthy. And people wonder why, oh, my 7,000 gram first year ball python laid slugs. Well, fuck, no wonder. I'm surprised it can fucking eat at that weight. You know, there's no species on Earth that's healthy and could, like, you know, that are overweight or underweight. There's a special range, and I think I have it somewhere. I think it was in the Snake Keeper's book, or the Barkers. One of the OGs had it where they had a guide. This is the you know, the age or the thing, and then here's the weight that animal should be with these. It's like in a graph, and you know, doesn't go by the fucking standards everybody thinks that we need them to be. You know, so who knows? Let's see. Another person, Ken and Michelle, interested in the workshop.
Okay, I'll keep you posted.
Oh yeah, look at that. I'm looking into getting some the soldier fly larva. I've been actually looking at doing like mealworms, just, you know, once a month, just overload them with mealworms and get them. We'll see. So More Forge says it's crazy because they all eat, they all lock, everything's the same. There's got to be something, like, it's weird, you know?
Yep.
No idea.
It's one of the things that's crazy about snakes is there's no easy way to do blood work on them without piercing the heart. In order to get a blood sample, the best way to get a blood sample from a ball python is to go directly to the heart, and a vet has to do that, and with imaging, so you can see real time what's happening, and it's very difficult for us to understand the nature of what's going on in their physiology if we can't just take a quick blood sample and see what's up.
See, I mean, that's another good thing too, right? Vitamin or mineral deficiency, their body, like, you know, triggers a fail-safe. Like, hey, I better, you know, I'm not well. I'm not, you know, and it's funny because, you know, if you think about this, every egg that I've had, I shouldn't say every, but I would say 90+% of every egg that I have that's fucking kicked out by the female, guess what it doesn't have? Big veins. You ever notice that, people?
Yeah.
So why, out of 7, 8, 9 eggs, has she kicked 1 or 2 out? And when you take them and you weigh and you candle them, why do they have hardly any veins, or they're a slug? How does that female know?
It's
Because
amazing.
it's not a coincidence. I've had that thousands of times, maybe hundreds at least, hundreds of times, like probably 300-400 times. A kicked out egg, you look, oh shit. How does she know? Well, how you know, maybe they know that their body isn't healthy enough, or it's not, like, you know, vitamin or mineral deficient. You know, maybe I shouldn't keep going, and maybe I need to reabsorb. But that's the thing.
Maybe she needs a year off.
Maybe they need a year off, yeah. And that's the thing too, is maybe some of the animals that we're feeding, we're giving them such a strict diet that, you know, I mean, I'm glad I change it up, give them different, like, you know, when I give them a rat, it's more fatty, and I'm doing this, and you never know. I mean, I think diet and incubation and the health of the animals and what it's feeding, and, you know, how many times it eats, I think all of this plays into all these questions that we want answered, you know, just who the hell knows, you know? But let's see. How many of your girls, percentage-wise, have reabsorbed, eventually gave you available? I don't know. But all I know is I've had females reabsorb and they would have laid or they still wouldn't be here. It'd be like, oh, this is the 4th year this female hasn't laid, you know? Because I do think there might be animals out there that just can't have a valid clutch or, you know, a healthy clutch. And not that I'm going to put this on because I'm going to forget. We've already gone past our time, but I like it. You know, thank you all for tonight's live and love, the continued love and support to Craig and I, and also Jeff and Joe. But yeah, we'll keep taking some answers, questions. And you guys have any understanding on this or anything to add, or you've heard, or any 2 cents to throw in? Because it's like, you know, there's a lot of good, you know, comments in the chat. And, you know, I would like to know, because I think, you know, 20 times a year, why do ball pythons reabsorb? I ask the same shit. I don't know. But it'd be nice to know what happens and how we can fix it, or how we can change it, or, you know, how much is diet, you know, because there's a lot of people that just power feed their animals and they do okay. I don't know.
Join the Patreon, show up Wednesday night.
Yeah, but
listen to Dr.
when
Booth.
I know what I know with the way these animals are, their digestive system, you know, and I'm going to make my own judgment. You know, I would rather have a female wait another 6 months to a year, knowing what I know, and then trying to get them to size and breeding it at you know, 16 months, 18 months. You know, I've had some animals that just genetically grow that way, or some that I would feed a little bit of a bigger meal to get them to size. But in general, you know, I probably underfeed, if anything.
Certainly with a smaller collection, it can be pretty frustrating. I had first year, I had a female that was sold, ready to go. She's you know, she's ready to pair, and I paired her, didn't get any eggs that year. The next year, she laid 10 good eggs. 2 next years, both absorbed. This year, she gave 10 eggs again. 2 weeks later, they're all bad in the incubator. And it can be frustrating when you have a small collection. When Billy and I see it at MC, okay, well, it's 1 out of 200 clutches.
Yeah, it's
right?
the
But when you've only got, I think the first year I did 17 clutches, and that's, you know, 1 out of 17. Sometimes it hurts. That was an important female for the project that I was trying to hit.
So do you guys breed your own rodents? I know Jeff doesn't, but I got him sort of on the ASF little wagon for now.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah. So I was breeding my own rodents. I've gone away from it recently. Me and Jeff actually talked about this on the last show. I found it took a lot of my time. Like my weekends, I was constantly, and I only have 2 racks. Like, I mean, maybe 12 colonies, and it would take me, you know, my whole Saturday. And now my kids in the baseball and the travel sports, and I just don't have time. So I've started transitioning everything over to frozen. A lot of the big girls behind me are still on live. I still have 4 colonies that, you know, it's producing enough right now to feed them, but I think I'm moving away from doing my own rodents. It's kind of took all the joy out of it for me, but I understand the financial part of it.
Paul.
Oh, Paul. Mr. Caplock strikes again.
I did my own rodents for probably 1.5 years, the first 2 years that I did it, and I loved it. I didn't mind the time or any of that. I love the ability to be able to feed, and what doesn't eat goes right back in the rack. There's nothing more annoying than having one of those weeks. Oh, great, I brought in 40 rats, and 19 of them decided they didn't want to eat. And then the next week, you bring in 20 and they're all gobbling and you needed more. It's just that part I found just so much nicer, being able to have this stuff. Like Billy and I are constantly, I'm like, hey, we're cleaning and I'm cleaning. Hey, Billy, look at this one. This needs another meal. And Billy runs over and grabs one. Oh, this is perfect. Throw that in. And it's just being able to have that. I can't imagine not having that at the scale Billy is. It's got to happen.
It's definitely like, it's something I wish I did at the beginning. You know, it's funny because when the market started going down, I started feeling it, right? But because my average rodent bill was 12 to 15,000 a month. That's what my rodent bill was. And when I saw like, holy shit, like everything's going, the sales weren't coming in, and I'm like, what's my biggest expense? My biggest expense is rodents. So I saw that, like, hey, like if the sales and the way like the sky's falling and prices were dropping, and I was just like, whoa, I'm like, you know what, I've got to do something. And I did. And because when the money was coming in, here you go. Oh, how much? 12,000. Here you go. 15. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Monthly. When it wasn't coming in, then it's like I made the change. But if I made that change prior, oh my God, I would have had an extra 8,000, doing it yourself. I probably would have saved 7,000 a month. So, or 8,000 a month, depending, with a little bit of extra work. You do that for 3-4 years, 8,000, that's, oh God, I would have another 300,000-400,000. I could have invested in animals that are making me money instead of just giving it to somebody else. And it's like, and that's the thing, right? Money buys time. Money, people always ask me like, oh, how come you don't go to many concerts? Because when I do, I spend like $2,000 a seat, front fucking row. Wow. VIP, you name it. And it's, to me, it's that. I remember, like, I've got videos where I was at Rihanna with the girlfriend. Rihanna comes down, I put my hand out, she comes and high fives me. Justin Timberlake, I've got the videos on my Facebook. Hey Justin, I put my hand up, he comes by, leans over and gives me a high five. How the fuck can, I don't go to many, but when I do, they're memorable. Beastie Boys, front fucking row, and I'm sitting there, and about 5 feet ahead of me, Adam had these awesome shoes. I'm like, dude, I love your shoes. When the set was going on, he goes, you like them, eh? Yeah, they're one of my favorite. I got a few of them. And I'm like, cool. What the fuck? It's awesome. UFC front row for my birthday with my buddy Wes. And, he knew Dana, and Dana came over. I'm like, fuck, can I get a picture? And my buddy's like, really, Billy? I'm like, fuck, it's Dana White. It's so cool. So I spend money on things that saves me time, things that I enjoy. And when you have money and you do that, sometimes where it's like, I'll just pay. I really wish I didn't have that mindset. It's not always good for everything. Just like trips. When I go on a trip, I don't go, when I was a kid, for $1,000, I can go to Cuba and we can do an all-inclusive. Wow. I would never go to an all-inclusive now. I'd rather pay $5,000 a person to go somewhere nice. And that's just the way I am now. So starting paying for rats, it was something that I didn't want to do. I just, but I really wish I didn't have that mindset. I really wish I learned, because I actually enjoy them. Hey, cool, look at this one. And it just gives you so much pride. And, I've missed that for probably 15 to 20 years. Now for the last 6, maybe even 7. No, it's about 6 now. And I enjoy it. I can't see not doing it ever. And I wouldn't do it, even though I outsource some of the rodents, but the ASFs, I'm never going to stop doing those. So I think that's important too.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to start Alabama Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah. Okay.
Craig, you can't do ASFs, but you can do rats, or no?
Yeah, right. I can't do ASFs. I can do Norway rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I know
a
lot of the shows. A lot of the shows that I'm watching, that's guys' biggest complaints. They had rats. Oops, they got no rats. So just having that control in house.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what would happen to Billy and I. Like, what would happen to MC if we lost? All of a sudden, we lose a supplier for 6 months. We'd be toast. Plus,
I will say this:
moving. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to have a backup, though. It's great to control your supply, but the problem with being in control of your supply is that you're in control of the supply.
Right.
And so
it's all on you.
It's really smart to have somebody that you can even if you have to drive to get them as a backup.
Yeah. No, the lot of things that, like, I mean, I'm still making little mistakes here and correcting them, and you know, like, I should have. I was just so focused on changing MC, looking for the new building. You know, Jeff and I went to all different types of places to look at, and you know, that was on my mind, and you know, I knew that was there. So, like, the year before, just downsizing staff. Austin, you know, was, you know, moving on to, you know, his own place. So a lot of changes and a lot of things. And I just wish I concentrated more on certain things, especially like the last year. I still have so many animals that I shouldn't have had because I didn't do shows for a year because I was moving, you know. I didn't want to go do a show or 2 or 3 shows last year because shit, I mean, I didn't even have half the shit unpacked here. So I always had something to do. So not doing that, not listing animals, not doing this, it really puts you behind. So, you know, still made mistakes, but now I'm fixing them. Right. And, you know, looking back, I think one of the biggest things to me was, where would I be right now if I was breeding my own rodents back in the day? What type of collection would I have? I mean, I wouldn't have gone through a lot of the struggles that I've gone through, and maybe even going through now with some of these renos that were supposed to be here. Now they're like, fuck, why do I do this to myself? Because this is mine, and I'm going to do it right, or it's not going to get done. But everything just keeps, you know, adding. And for me, I want it done faster than later, but you learn from these things. But, you know, just thinking back, you know, spending $6,000 a month on a rental place for 5 years, plus all the fees and the cost and everything. It's like, wow, did I spend a lot of money that I only have YouTube videos and memories for? You know what I mean? Like, holy moly.
Yeah.
But
that being said, it doesn't mean I won't get back into rodents, like breeding my own. I still have all my setups. It's just I wait it out. Yeah. For me, spending the time with my kids growing up is more worth it than $200 a month.
No,
like I only have
no, Joe. Your snakes are more important than your family.
Careful. You might get some
Yeah.
backlash.
That's right.
But no, I mean, that's the thing, right?
You guys must have watched the same video I did.
Yeah. You've got to make decisions. And that's the thing, right? Like, people are, you're dumb not breeding your own. No, guess what? Your priorities are different than theirs. And guess what?
That's right.
Spending time with my fucking kids is more important than me. I'd rather spend money out of my pocket to have that time with my kids. And that's the same thing. It's like, you know, back in the day, people were like, you should breed your own rodents. I'm like, nah, I'll just pay for them. I just pay for them. Now, why the fuck didn't I listen to those people? It's like, you know, but you learn and then you change. And like you said, you say that, like, you know, I may get back into it. I probably will, but you might just say, you know what? I'm keeping my collection small. I like the time. I'm going to work a little harder and maybe, you know, do what I need to do to keep my time, you know, where now I have all the time in the world, except now I have too much on my plate. And I don't have enough time, but, you know, I'm getting there. And I get Jeff coming in this week, so.
Yeah, awesome. And I was say you made some adjustments too, right? You downsized your collection in order to keep up with your rodent. Yeah. So it's not like you're still feeding 2,000 rodents every month or every week, whatever it is. But
yeah, no,
really
I mean,
made other changes too. So
one thing that I'm not worried about, but I've got almost 280 available spots for hatchlings that are going to be coming, but I'm going to need a lot more than 280. So,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of animals I want to sell. You know, I just put something out because I want to move animals. It's almost like I want to move animals to make space, to save time. And then I'm going to use that money and my time to do renovations to get stuff done. Because now I was going to leave the whole space open. Now I want to build walls and rooms, and I want to close off the rat room. And, you know, I got everything where I want it. And after like 4 or 5 months of debating and going through the pros and cons, I want to do it. So the basement's probably going to cost me about $30,000 to do. Now, if I do that now, it takes $30,000 from my renovation costs up here, my living space. I want that done because for 5-6 months I've been just winging it and doing little things at a time, and it's cool. But I'm telling you, if I go down and I fix because everything's always been animals. The animals are healthy. They're there. The temps are good. They've got everything they need. Fancy walls ain't gonna fucking change anything. It's more for me. It's like people having a ball python as a pet and having this beautiful enclosure. Oh no, I don't want a rack. I want to enjoy it. So for me, having the room downstairs and doing it the way I want and putting the PVC walls up and everything like that, it's not needed. It's something I want, but upstairs is priority. So that's why I'm doing like a sale and I'm doing some stuff for Patreon because I want to sort of do both. But realistically, I put myself in a position where this is what I've got, and until, and another thing to let people know, when you move, and I decided not to breed since May last year. So I took like 6-7 months off, not breeding, not pairing, no nothing. I'm feeling it now because, I probably lost 100 clutches that I didn't breed last year. And those animals, so my collection there's a lot of pairings that I didn't do that I'd have amazing fucking animals in my whole back rack growing up. That'll be amazing for years to come. I've lost that. But I still had a pretty good season, still happy. But I also feel now that like I should have a lot of other stuff because people are, hey, do you have any of these? I'm like, I would have, but I moved. So I'm getting through that whole stage now. So when you do decide to move, you will have, and I didn't want to move them and breed them right away. I wanted them to settle in. I wanted to get everything, settled in and make sure everything was good. And then I decided to breed later, but I'm feeling it now. But, in 6 months, I'll be laughing going, oh, remember the time, Jeff, when we didn't have any animals and now we have too many? I wish we were there, because now we have too many, but I'm happy where I'm at. I just still need to downsize. I've got 2 racks going out. I've got another 2 or 3 racks that I want to sell with some animals. And then I think I'm comfortable with that, at least to see what this year brings. And then, because I also, want to start upping my production of reptiles, and I'm going to get into some frogs and lizards, and, so that's just for me personally. And that's where I'm at. So
I got a question, Billy. When you're the only one of the 4 of us that lived through in a serious sales way through the pandemic. What was it like selling animals, and as far as inventory and how many clutches you were getting, how many animals you had left over, and not necessarily the financial stuff, just like, hey man, we made 900 animals and we couldn't keep them in stock.
Well, that's another thing that went through my brain. I have so much stuff that I could have sold and I should have sold, but I'm like, and then knowing when, and that's the thing, everything's around you, and what you grasp at is what you concentrate on. So when the pandemic was there and everything was selling, it was like, I'm getting like crazy value for stuff. I sold quite a bit, but then I also said, well, hey, if it's selling now, I want to make more of it and I want to take it to other levels. So I held a little bit more back than I should have. And then when sales started to go down, I wasn't looking at, hey, I got all this inventory, I better move it now. I was looking at like, well, shit, if the sales are going lower, I concentrated on, hey, I got to downsize my staff. I've got to downsize my expenses. I got rid of a couple staff. I got rid of my social media manager. I downsized a little bit where I didn't buy as much as I usually do to buy new animals. I got into cutting off the rat supplier And I sort of did that in stages where I had to do like a little bit, and then totally cut them out. So I was concentrating on how do I, not how much I can sell and make. It's how do I get my cost down? I should have done them both, because some of the animals that I have, I could have sold for 2-3 times what what I would get for them now. And, over the last year and a half, I really haven't done anything with them. So, I should have looked at the whole picture instead of just grabbing a few things, but at least I was able to know that there was a problem. And if I didn't make those changes, oh my God, if I didn't get into breeding my own rodents and lowering my cost and some of the other stuff, because remember every week I had a cleaning crew come in. Yep. Oh, how much? Here you go. Oh, rats, here you go. Oh, here you go. I was just fucking throwing money out as fast as it came in. And then when it wasn't coming in, it's like the bills, like, holy shit, hold on a second. It's the bills are being paid, but the money ain't coming in like it was. I better make some changes. But selling the animals or getting rid of my holdbacks or stuff, that was the last thing in my head. And I wish I sold some of it, because it would have been less of a burden. I would have got more money for them, and other people would have done stuff with them where, I've had animals here that, should have bred in the last year and a half, and they haven't, So, when you think you got everything, there's still other shit you got to look at, but I'm glad I did what I did when I did, because I would have been in a lot worse a situation. But, and now I'm preparing for the new season, right? So when you get here, Jeff, there's two less racks, and I only have two of the mini 140s. And then within the next month, I've got the U.S. shipment going out, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I got the 62 animals to the Philippines. So there's more space. So nice. I just got to get there. And
have you been
really
noticing more inquiries?
Animals. What's that?
Have you been noticing more inquiries and stuff on animals? I know I have been noticing a lot of people.
I have, yeah. The problem is I just started like on my morph market, and I got a notice. I just didn't do anything. Like, if you have an inactive or a post that hasn't had a change or an update in 6 months, they expire that ad. So most of my ads were expired. So now I'm going back and updating them, adding new stuff. You'll start seeing I've got some new stuff up there. I'm going to start doing some more. But if anybody's looking at getting into stuff and you haven't seen listed, message me and I can look. Like, I just saw Brian. Did you get a chance to look about what animal I asked on Patreon? I haven't yet, but I have you. I have Mike. I have a few people. I've been talking with Craig for about 4 months. We're going to have a call one day to talk about some stuff that I got to send to him. We still haven't had that call, but I have it somewhere like right here, Mike Snyder, I got you, Brawley, Sky High. And I got one downstairs on my little cart that pushes around bring my laptop. There's one there, and at the top with a bunch of other shit scratched off, it says animals for Craig. We got to have that discussion. But it's funny because that's been like 4 months. It's like,
Yep.
But it's just something that I'm just trying to get caught up on. And, it's no matter where you're at, like, you guys feel like you're struggling being small. Wish I had this, wish I had that. And, oh, my racks aren't that great. You're always going to have that somewhere. Like, I have great racks. I got great animals, but I got to do this. I got too much. I wish I had this. I wish I had more of this. And it's not like you hit a certain level in this game and all your issues go away. It's like there's just different issues or different problems,
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
like,
And if you don't address them, they compound.
Yeah, Jeff's seen it. It's like he's seen me for 5 years, and what I've gone through and the changes. And, now I'm almost in a regrowth, This year I've got like some of the crazy pairings that I'm like, wow, I should have had this fucking last year. But, I just had to delay it. Because to me, settling in the new building, making sure the animals were settled and eating and that I got all the temps right. How many times have I moved my room around? Like
Yep.
Why don't we do this? Let's change it. And Jeff would come in. It's like, what the fuck? I need an hour just to get my bearings. Now it's totally changed.
You get it all changed, and you have no more slugs, no more wobble, no more nothing.
I hope so, but at any rate, yeah, we got 2 hours in. I done most of the talking. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Fucking
all right.
Billy.
That was
But
quick.
yeah, it does. Time flies.
Any
But,
closing thoughts, Joe and Jeff?
I just want to thank you guys for having us on. This was amazing. Like, a huge platform for us rookies. We appreciate it.
Amazing.
Check out our show, the Jerk Show, Instagram every other Sunday, I guess. Check out my YouTube, Mercy Morphs. Subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys,
Jeff.
for being, doing lives and a lot of YouTube and stuff, and for marketing. One thing I wouldn't suggest you guys do on your show is have like a competition, because you'd have to call it the jerk off. And we don't want that. Okay?
That's 2 weeks in a row,
Probably have
Joe.
one
Somebody
viewer. His
go in
name is
there.
Chad from
The
Richard
social
Jerk.
jerk. Yeah.
The jerk store called, and they were all out of you.
Yeah. And tonight's issue, and tonight, on the jerk off, here we
Yeah.
are, competitor
Jerky
one.
boys.
Oh my God.
We wondered as soon as we put that out and Mike made that comment about that, what you're saying. It's like, do we need to change the show?
That was 2 minutes into the show.
It was, yeah. Well, literally, I'm like, oh man, so much for kid friendly. Yeah, thanks so much, Billy and Craig, for having us on.
Yeah.
Thanks to Joe for making the little, as you guys
Yeah.
were talking about AI, Joe's done, like, he I don't know how long he spent on it, but he did more for my little, what do you call my little label or
Logo.
emblem for my, sorry?
Logo.
For my logo, then I've had 3 other people working on it for 2 years, and they haven't done squat. And Joe did more, and I don't know how long it took the guy. 15.
Oh, comment of the night.
Man. that was coming.
Oh my God.
We need no round table.
Ah.
We're not knights of the round table.
AKA the Circle Jerk Ball Edition. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
12.
Sorry, anybody that's sitting here with your children, but your children should be in bed at 9 o'clock. So.
Yeah. Well, they should know with me anyways. I don't know. I should be more kid friendly. But
Nah, man, I watch your show all the time. I think I haven't missed an episode in 2 years, and you're always. I'd let my kids watch your show, so
yeah.
you're pretty good.
Well, I try, like I said, I don't come on here and change my, you've seen me, you've known me, everybody here have known me, met me in person. I'm the same way off camera as I am on. I don't have an act. I just say what I say. I believe what I say. I stand behind it. I do what works for me and what I believe. If you have different ways, I don't hate you. I don't care. You don't like Ultramel? Don't care. You like Monarch better? Awesome. You have your preferences, I have mine. Doesn't mean we can't still love and talk about snakes and be cool about it. And, if everybody liked all the genes I'm in and nobody liked the other stuff, I'd have a hell of a lot of competition. That'd be shitty. It's like, can't you find another gene? Fuck. Why do you always have to use the ones that I'm in? Like, get out of here. Go find other genes. You're not allowed to have these ones. I want to have some by myself. But no, it's good. And like I said, I'm glad that you guys, and especially with Joe, like he mentioned earlier, like this is something that's like not in his wheelhouse, right? And I know for me, it was easy to come on, but I get better, and it's sort of like when the camera comes on, I just talk. It's what I do. And other people, they're like, oh my God, I'm nervous. I'm like, how did I do? And, for you guys, for you to feel that way and go on and actually do this every, month or every 2 weeks, it's good because, then just like, hey, let me do YouTube videos. Let me go on and, I can do an interview with someone else down the road, and you're not going to feel so like, because you'd rather do what you're doing now than go on a main platform and just like, oh my God, you can't talk and you stutter and you fuck up every second word to be like, that guy Joe? Yeah, man, there's something wrong with that guy. You know,
That's me
I
every
mean,
day. Normal.
it gives you.
There may
gives
still
you-
be, but you know.
but no, it gives you that confidence, right? Every little bit, and you know,
Yeah,
it's
hell yeah,
something
there's
that-
something wrong with me.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I'm into ball pythons.
Yeah, well, at least when you're here, right? Like, you know, I mean, you know, all the problems and the issues, they look at me. I take the cake for all of you. So, you know, all three of you combined couldn't fucking add up to my
You're
nonsense.
the ringleader.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm the ringleader. Yeah. So,
Well, just
No.
as a kind of a goodbye to the people who've been watching, if there's anybody that has watched Joe and I's show and you've been doing this for 5 years and we don't know you, we'd love to meet new people, and especially in that sort of new breeder kind of making changes.
Yeah.
And you know, if you got 5 ball pythons, don't call us. But if you got like 20,
6
30,
maybe.
50, whatever, yeah, then we'd love to have you even just to pop in and say hi to us during one of our lives. We're doing mainly Instagram now, but Uncle Craig's got to get us into the StreamYard
realm.
and all that. So Craig's,
Sure.
I know he's
Oh,
more
man.
than willing to help new people getting up. So
Yeah, and
Thank you
people
to
out
everybody.
there, no matter what level you're at, like always ask questions, even if they sound dumb. You know, I think it's and I get it, right? Like there's a lot of times where, you know, you might not want to go, or oh my God, look how many viewers. I can't ask this question. I'm gonna look dumb. You know, find a smaller platform to ask to learn, or
Yep.
you know, find somebody that you can make a phone call and talk to answer that question, because for you not answering that question is going to cost you. Oh, if I knew that, oh, I wouldn't have lost all my. I would have had clutches this year. You know, I remember somebody that, you know, reached out and they're like, Billy, I had another slugs. I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, and another slugs and another slugs, and I'm like, holy fuck, like there's something wrong, dude. You know, you've got your first 3 animals, they're slugs. I'm like, what are you doing? And I went over it with them. And it's like, no, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing this and this, you know, and once I started pairing, I stopped feeding. And I'm like, you what? Once I started pairing, because, you know, I heard when you pair, you stop feeding. I'm like, no, you stop feeding once they're gravid. And it's like, wow. So
Wow.
this person was stopped feeding for like 3 months before they were supposed to get an ovulation. No wonder the female reabsorbed, because she didn't eat for like 3-4 months. And then all of a sudden the next year, because he had a few other clutches where he started feeding while he was pairing, and I think he got a couple clutches that year, but then the next year he had like 11. So he's like, oh, cool. Yeah. So it was me fucked up because, you know, I just heard it and I thought that's how you did it. And it's always good to sort of, you know, listen to how people say and what's going on. And, you know, like even today, I think almost every episode, when do you stop pairing? When do you start pairing? I don't care if I have to say that every single show, because someone will hear it. And like, when do you stop feeding? When do you do this? Like, you know, I stopped pairing after 30. You know, Craig might want to get that extra lock. I used to be like that. Sometimes I will, once in a blue moon. It's not set in stone, but definitely ask questions, because if you make a mistake, you might lose a whole year of breeding or not doing something right. And that really sucks. You know, your investment doesn't come in. Your animals are the same as they were last year. There's no expectation, no grow ups, no posting, taking pictures, no self-gratification, no building customers, no going to expos. You got to do that another year from now. Man, that sucks. So definitely ask questions. Definitely ask questions. Don't be shy.
Definitely. Before we go, guys, I just want to give a shout out to Fat Man Nation. Use
Here
that
you
word.
go.
I don't have this year's shirt, but guys, support the cause. Reach out, check them out. It's amazing.
Definitely. It's
Yep.
a worthy goal, and they're trying to hit 10,000 this year. I think last time they hit 7,000 or above 7,000. So
Sweet.
they're looking for a 40% increase, and so we need to make it happen.
Awesome. Well, we'll do our outro. Thank you both, Jeff and Joe, for coming on, especially last minute.
Appreciate
And
that.
I will see you tomorrow, Jeff.
Yeah, man.
So you ready? Here we go. Stay on, and we'll chat back stage for a bit. Bye, everyone.
good.
Have an awesome rest of your week. And for those in the Patreon, see you Wednesday with Dr. Warren Booth.
My channel, my content, I'm the man with the Morse. Billy Rose in the house,
And Craig.
breaking down those doors. Mutation, creation, making waves, that's the norm. With the snakes in my hand, feel the power transform. Yo, it's Billy Rose, let me tell you a tale. From the heart of Canada, where the pythons prevail. Got the rack stack high, more stat to make you smile. From clowns to ultra mouths, I'm running this reptile now. Started from the bottom, now collections elite. Feeding ASF, every snake gets a treat with the community tight. I'm the breeder you seek. Mutation, creation, every day of the week. Social media buzzing, see the followers grow. On YouTube, Instagram, watch the Billy Rose show. The hacks and synergize, got the genetics unlocked. In the reptile game, I'm the TikTok of the clock. Channel my content, I'm the man with the Morse. Billy Rose in the house, breaking down those doors. Mutation, creation, making waves, that's the norm. With the snakes in my hand, feel the power transform. Gold scissors in hand, cutting clutches with flair.
Soon.
Toronto, Canada, you know I'm rare. Team Ultra Mel strong, colors vivid and bright. In the world of ball pythons, I'm shining the light.
Woo!
This is not a hand, by the way. This is an empty sock puppet. A naked sock puppet.
Hi, everybody. Good night, y'all.
Bye.